I thought I'd just stay silent and so that you can hear the sound of the wind and the birds. I've come out into the garden this afternoon. The sun's out, although I have still got my socks on because it is only May and it's in England. So the weather isn't, I'm not quite ready to put on my sandals quite yet. These roses are so beautiful, and I've decided to sketch them. Brought out my sketchbook. I've used an HB pencil, and I've just put in the blooms very loosely, really, just getting used to the way the petals are sort of forming, and the leaves and the stems, hoping to perhaps use roses as a subject for a painting later on. But when you're starting to paint something for the first time, it's always a good idea to just sketch it a few times before you get the paintbrushes out, just to get used to the shapes. And I want these white roses, well, to let white roses stand out, it's quite a good idea to colour in the background. That's one way of doing it anyway. And I've got a watercolour pencil here. It's a burnt umber. No, what is it? Yes, burnt umber. And that's the HB pencil that I use. Wrong way round. I'm having to do this one-handed because I'm holding my phone with one hand and my pencil in the other. I'm left-handed. Anyway, so the sketching is done. There's only just a little bit to start me off. And here's my watercolour pencil. And I'm just going to go in. Let me just position my phone so that I can see, well, so you can see, and also I can see. And then I'm just going to colour in the background. So watercolour pencil's lovely because when you've coloured in, you can then wash over with water, and you get, it just sort of dissolves the lines. You can soften it. But a dark background will immediately make the blooms stand out. Whoops, sorry. Concentrated so much on the colouring I forgot to position the phone in the right place. This is the first time I've used a microphone with a video, and it's not as easy as it looks. There were several outtakes before I got to this one, but I'm not word perfect. But I thought you might just like to join me in the garden. And while I'm sketching, I'm just going to pull back the phone. There you are. I'm listening to the birds and smelling the roses, because they're beautifully perfumed, these ones. And just enjoying being outside. We've had an awful lot of rain this winter, so it's nice to get outside. If I go quiet, it's because I'm concentrating. It's not easy to concentrate and to talk at the same time. So I have great respect now for those television presenters who do cookery demonstrations and such like, because trying to concentrate on what you're doing with a sharp knife, cutting up vegetables, for example, and also remember what to say, is quite a skill. I don't think, well, I'm not going to colour up the whole page. It's going to take ages, isn't it? But I do find it quite therapeutic to colour in with a pencil from time to time. I don't do it that often. In fact, I don't do sketching as often as I should, and I do really, really like it. Every time I get my pencils out, I always think, oh, why didn't I do this earlier? Or why am I not doing this all the time? Because it's just so lovely. I'm lucky that I have a garden that I can sit in. And if I go out somewhere public and sit and try and sketch, I find it a little bit distracting because people do stop and look at you, and it's quite a private thing, sketching, in a way. You just need to get into your own zone, in your own little world, and really look and observe. So what I'm looking at with this rose is just how the roses are sort of collecting around the central stem. I used a very light touch when I was sketching, and it means that you can get the delicacy and the movement of the petal, because they sort of overlap. They're quite fine as well, so some petals are actually showing through the edges. The edges of some petals are showing through. They can be quite transparent in places. Okay, so this is an experiment, really. I mean, sketching is quite often just a way of getting yourself ready to paint. As well as being incredibly relaxing. I might go in and darken later, but I just wanted to show you that by sketching in the darker background with the watercolour pencil, it's already made the rose stand out, and the white blooms really do stand out against the dark brown. Sort of puts me in mind of some of the Dutch artists that used to always have a very dark background, and then they'd paint their tulips or other flowers, and really bright, they'd really show up against that dark background. So it's kind of inspired me a little bit today. Okay, so let's see what this video is like. As I said, this is the first time I've used a microphone, so be interested to see what I sound like. Okay, bye.